I'm gonna. That's right. I said it. I said trade him, but don't get salty about it because I'm not trying to disrespect Cam Newton in any way. I just think there comes a point in time where your time in a particular locale has come up. It's not to say that Kyle Allen is better than him or anything like that, but he is 5-1 as a starter. He's 23 years of age. The team is what they is. They are what they are, rather. They're flowing without Cam Newton. And I got news for you. I think there's somebody else that needs Cam Newton more desperately than the Carolina Panthers. And you know who I think that team is, Ryan? Max?
The Chicago Bears.
I think it is the Chicago Bears. I think that the Chicago Bears should trade for Cam Newton. They need somebody with that moxie. They need somebody with that athletic ability. They need somebody with heart. They don't need somebody that's still recovering from being booed on draft night or shortly thereafter when he went to the United Center in Chicago. Mitchell Trubisky, the number 2 overall pick, and was soundly booed by the crowd there because he's not who they wanted. They wanted a Deshaun Watson. And so you got a guy that's still trying to prove himself and recover from all of that. The mental makeup, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Mr. Trubisky. I'm just calling it like I see it. The mental makeup that he seems to have does not seem to be made for Chicago. I think somebody like Cam would be better. I think he needs a fresh start. I think Carolina already has it. With Kyle Allen, you roll with that. I would trade Cam Newton to the Chicago Bears.
I love the idea of Cam Newton on the Bears. I'm not going to front. But we're talking about what would you do if you were Carolina. And look, it's not about, be fair to Cam. He didn't have McCaffrey and Norv Turner for an extended period of time. Who cares about being fair to a player? Fans of teams don't care about that. The hell with the player. It's just the way for their commodities to fans for the most part in the NFL and to teams. And I understand your logic, Stephen A. If you got a young guy who's basically paid like a rookie on that rookie deal, everyone knows that's how you make hay, as they used to say, in the NFL. Then get rid of the high-price guy. If you can approximate his production with a young guy you don't have to pay. Little different in this case. I want to show you what Cam Newton was doing with Norv Turner. Like, everyone forgets about this. As a former MVP, voted by his peers, best player in the game, got to a Super Bowl, had a chance to win it in the second half. With Norv Turner, first year's offensive coordinator last year. Cam Newton, I'm going to take you up till the Pittsburgh injury. Because after he got injured against Pittsburgh, it wasn't the same. But the first 8 games, he was 6-2, completed 67% of his passes, 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Kyle Allen, 61% of his passes, 11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So you say, well, he can approximate Cam. They can kind of run the offense. Sure, but Cam gives you a premium over Kyle Allen, and he can do more things. And when you're talking about trying to win a Super Bowl, the premium, the playmakers at important positions can be the difference. If you have Cam Newton, number 1 overall draft pick, been to a Super Bowl, MVP, part of the fabric of the history of that team, coming back off an injury, provided he can be what he was, if he can demonstrate that he is back physically to where he was, I would absolutely need to see, if I were the Panthers, a season of what he looks like with Norv Turner as his offensive coordinator.
So here's the problem. I actually agree with you, Max, on if I'm moving forward. I look at what Cam Newton was early on last season and think about if I can get him as close to healthy as possible, what type of player I will have, how great this offense would be with Christian McCaffrey taking that next step to becoming an offensive player of the year type. But that's not how they're going to see it. What they're going to see is the last 9 games of Cam Newton's career in Carolina. They're going to see that now that we're playing with Kyle Allen, what Christian McCaffrey has stepped up to be and what we've done as a team, the way we've been able to win football games as compared to how we looked in Cam Newton's last 9 games. And then you're going to move forward into the business of football. This isn't the same owner that Cam Newton won the MVP for. This isn't the same owner that was there when he watched Cam Newton take this team to 15-1 and go to the Super Bowl. This is a new regime. He's eventually going to want his guys. He's going to want his people. And this is a show-me year for Ron Rivera and for Norv Turner. I'm with Stephen A. You try to trade Cam Newton for somebody that looks at themselves as being 1 quarterback away from a Super Bowl winning team, because you can cut him and you can save $19 million against the cap, But why not try to get something in return? You went out and you got Will Greer in the offseason in the draft in the 3rd round from West Virginia. That's a guy they view as a potential starter going forward. Kyle Allen is a dude who was a 5-star coming out of high school, headed into Texas A&M, had some issues, ended up at a different school, but is still playing well now. They're going to see the business of football over loyalty to Cam Newton, over seeing what Cam Newton can be going forward. They're
I'm
going to
not
look
talking
at
about
wins,
loyalty, Ryan.
losses.
Ryan, real quick. I'm not talking about loyalty. Stephen A. and Ryan, for both of you. Just imagine McCaffrey playing like this, the defense, everything's the same, only you have the Cam Newton that we saw in the first half of last season. Now all of a sudden we go from, hey, they might make it to the playoffs, to mess around, that's a Super Bowl contender.
I get
that's
that. No,
the difference to me.
I didn't necessarily mean it in the sense of having loyalty to him because of the person he is. I'm saying loyalty to the player he used to be. Feeling like, okay, if we can get that guy back, this is what we could be. They're going to look at what he was before he left and what Kyle Allen and this offense and this team has been, which I think is below what it could be with Cam, but they're going to see it that way moving forward from a business standpoint, the money you save, the people you can get.
Well, first of all, unlike Max Kellerman, I don't need to use words like approximate or premium to make my point. Let me bring it to you in far simpler ways, Ryan Clark. Number one, you brought up the $19 million in cap space that they would save by getting rid of him. Number two, let me throw out this number. Cam Newton has been sacked 291 times in his career. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.